I was born and raised in the small town of Hanover, Pennsylvania. And although I lived there, I always had my eyes set on one place in particular, Pittsburgh. Back in 7th grade, I would sit on my bed and I would look at Google Street View and Google Earth, and I would familiarize myself with the area. I didn't look at Heinz Field or PNC Park or even downtown. I would look at the distressed communities around it. I would look at those that had high crime rates and high poverty rates. You see, I would always imagine myself as going to one of those places, fixing up homes, building playgrounds, or even pushing a broom down a dirty street. I love to imagine myself living in Pittsburgh and making a difference in part of these communities by fixing up the exteriors of the town and making it look nice. I thought at that point, that's what would make the towns come back. Although I live in Pittsburgh now and I love it, I have realized that is not what makes a town. By looking at it, I realized that by fixing up houses and doing these things cosmetically, that changes, but not what the town does. I looked back at where I came from, Hanover, Pennsylvania, and I looked at what it had and what brought me up. And I saw that there were 3 factors that made me who I am today, and that if this was applied to more kids in our country, they would also have the same opportunities. My first example is neighborhoods. Growing up on Rosewood Circle, I had 4 or 5 families that lived in the same street as I did, and their kids were the same age I was, and I even knew the parents and the friends that would come over. It was a tight-knit street. And growing up in a community like that, where a child will know everyone in their neighborhood, can make all the difference. Because looking around and seeing a familiar face, whether they are your same age or older, can really help a child feel safe and comfortable. My second example is public education, school. Bearsville Elementary School brought me to who I am because it engaged me with people my age and my teachers. Although I've never been one to really go out and love learning, it made learning fun, and it had fun things such as carnivals and different events that really gathered the students together. Bearsville is a great place and a happy place, and I think if a child is in a school where it has a very high social environment, that it will be just as well as a school that has a high academic environment. Within a public school, you learn how to communicate well with others, and you learn your learning skills. But in towns such as Hanover, with a school that was like Bearsville, a place where kids can really adapt and build new social skills, it would really help raise a child. Thirdly would be religion. Grace United Methodist Church was one big family. In our small little church, we had 10 to 12 pews on each side. I could name every person within those pews. Growing up in a town with a small church where everyone knows each other, that is what community is. Knowing who's next to you, who's behind you, who's beside you. It makes all the difference. Within these 3 things, a child can grow up in a community where they know everybody. They see a familiar face, they feel comfortable, and they feel safe. If we apply these small town attributes into a larger city, it can help these children grow up in a safe and loving community. What lacks from these areas that have such high crime rate and violence and everything is not knowing who the next person is, who's next door, who lives behind me, who's across the street. If a child were to know everyone in their community, they would feel safer and they would feel welcome. The broken window theory is a theory in which, for example, there would be a building right here. Imagine it. No one attends to it. It's left alone. A window breaks. It shatters and it falls. The right solution would be to fix it. Well, no one's carrying after this building. A second window pane falls, and then a third. Maybe a few days, weeks, or months. A squatter may come in, vandals may come in. The building becomes in disrepair. However, if someone were to watch after that building, say a tenant lived inside of it, or there's a real estate company looking after it, they would monitor the building and they would fix the problem right away. That's a solution for towns. The broken window theory clearly states that if a town would have a problem, it should be fixed right away, as if a window in a warehouse was broken. Although I'm a big supporter of that plan, I think there's a missing step. After the window is replaced, they should plant a flower pot in the window. That would mean that if a town were to have a problem and they were to fix it, they should put in a final step to bring the community together. There's a tragic event, they should have a festival, a celebration of life, some sort of community binding activity that would bring everyone together. No matter if it set the community apart or not, it would always be good to bring everyone together as a community. Now with this, harmony and love within a community is important to bring everyone together and what can actually raise a child. Politics or money can never fix a community. No matter how many hands are shaken or babies are kissed, nothing can ever change. The people inside of it and the people on the outside of it can be the change. Within the community, those talking with one another, whether it's saying hello or helping someone bring in the groceries or volunteering, such as building that playground, it could actually help more than anything else. Those outside of the community, instead of driving in and saying, oh, it's a shame, this used to be so great, now it's not, talk with these people, engage in conversation, make them feel happy, and they will make you feel welcome. The solution isn't the exterior factors, as I once thought they were. The real solution is to apply small-town atmospheres like the one I experienced in Hanover and put them into these bigger urban areas. Once we do that, the children of the next generation can have a powerful and loving environment, and that is what will fix a community. It is not done by houses that look nice, streets that are newly paved. It is done by those people inside of it, knowing one another, being kind to one another, and living in an environment where everyone is all welcome and equal opportunity thrives. Thank you.